Hi, I'm Sean, also known as Fire of Life 2018. I'm an environmentalist, a minimalist, survivalist that plays video games and talks about nerdy things. So here we are, and today's nerdy thing is the Wheel of Time. If you're not familiar with the Wheel of Time and are not okay with spoilers, tune away now. I'm sure I'm going to tell you something that you're going to be like, oh, I wish I didn't know that. I'm not really going to try to do that because I don't want to ruin a whole overarching story of it. But if you want a preface of what the 13 books are about, stay tuned. Okay, so like to start off, like don't even think that this is Earth. This is a whole high fantasy situation, and everything about it is going to be different. So it's not Earth. They have a whole different structure. Police, politicals, like systems of magic and everything are different in this world. It's a whole different thing, and it's basically like the father of all high fantasy. Like everybody thinks of Tolkien as this, and Tolkien is definitely one of those, and he's super high fantasy. I mean, I don't like it's hard. These guys are like father and stepfather of high fantasy, in my personal opinion, because he created a whole world without going into all the crazy languages and stuff. I mean, like Robert Jordan did a lot of detail in his books, but I don't feel like a lot of the unnecessary stuff that Tolkien did. Like, why did you need 27 A's in that book? Like 27 characters with A names in that book. Why Tolkien? Why? Anyway, Wheel of Times, Robert Jordan. Robert Jordan, great author. Loved every book. I've read them multiple times. They're amazing books. If you haven't read the books, I highly recommend it. Audiobooks are one of my favorites too. Like definitely you can get a lot of things done while listening to an audiobook. I mean, like why worry about driving around somewhere listening to mindless music when you could get an audiobook? Audiobooks are good for your soul and your vocabulary. Okay, so Wheel of Time. The whole preface of the Wheel of Time is that there's like their god system, if you're going to put this into like a liberal labeled system, their god system is this Wheel of Time, and it weaves a tapestry of an era as it turns and spins, as it will, it turns. The wheel weaves as the wheel weaves, and it does going on. It's how people say, like, it's like when people say, oh, it's in God's plan. That's how they say the wheel weaves as the wheel weaves. Like, shit happens, bro. Okay, and each one of these era tapestries basically begins and ends with Tarmageddon, which is the battle of the age. Tarmageddon is your basic battle between good and light. Like it is the culmination of the storyline. It's the climax. It is the climax of that video book series. It's the climax of that book series. Okay, so yeah, we now know that the Wheel of Time is wheeling a tapestry that begins and ends with Tarmageddon. Tarmageddon is the battle for good and light. The champions of good and light, the champion of light is called the dragon, and the champion of the dark is called the dark one. I mean, they're not very creative, the evil side in this book. They're not very creative. They know how to kill people. They know how to kill people real well. That's about it. Um, so yeah, that's a thing. Oh, the evil side has Trollocs, which are kind of like human type intelligent people, but they're amalgamation of animal parts. They're just a whole bunch of animal parts threw together into a human controlled animal body. They eat humans. They're scary. They're driven by Murdrals, which are like the puppet masters, like I don't know, the generals of the Trolloc army, basically. Super powerful, super evil, super quick. Fades like they don't have faces. It's if. They're scary. They're very scary. They don't like the Nazgul ain't got nothing on a Murdral. That's all I'm saying. Um, the light side has the Aes Sedai. The Aes Sedai are women who can channel the one power, which is literally the power that turns the wheel. Remember, it's like their god power. It's Aes Sedai's have the power to do that. They all are trained at the White Tower, which is like where the Amerlin seat rules over this little nation of Aes Sedai that are the warriors of light, basically. No Final Fantasy reference. Story about the previous Tarmageddon, like the Tarmageddon that started this era, like tainted the male half of the power of God. They call it Sidene and Sidar. It's a male power of, it's like their God power. One side has, like, males get Sidene and women get Sidar, and that might be backwards. That might be backwards. Spoilers, it might be backwards. Um, but the males, it got tainted by the Dark One. Like, so in his final act, like, oh no, I'm gonna die on this edge, but in the next edge, I'll get him. And then he like turns into it, and it's like, oh, I get it. You guys are dumb. You're gonna all go crazy now. So they're now facing Tarmageddon in the new era without male Aes Sedai at all. The Dragon Reborn, spoilers, is a dude. So there's a problem. They don't have any male Aes Sedais, but the Warrior of Light is a male Aes Sedai. So, right. Anybody who's born with the spark as a dude gets gentled because he goes nuts and kills everybody around him. Like, one of the stories they tell, like, very early on, when the dragon is discovering that he is the dragon, one of the people there tells a story that he knew a guy that went to bed one night and then woke up. The whole town had been flattened around him, people and buildings and everything. The only thing that survived was his bed. So the White Tower, being warriors of light, see this as like the only way to solve this is to gentle them so he can't destroy everything around them, which is how the end world last time won, basically. Because the Dark One technically lost the last battle with Louis Theron, which you find out very, very early on in the books, so that's not too much of a spoiler. I don't even know if that'll be in there. But Louis Theron was the dragon in the previous age, and he actually won Tarmageddon, but with that final act of defiance by the Dark One, he went nuts, and then every other male Aes Sedai in the world went nuts. And they, keep in mind, they are the most powerful beings on the planet, the Aes Sedai, and they all, so half of them just went nuts, and they literally destroyed the world. They call it the breaking of the world. And they rearranged continents. They, like, humanity was reduced to ragged tribes that are spread out all over the place now, and this has been hundreds of years ago. So they've obviously come back from that, and they're in a thriving situation. So now they're like, no, but we're back to that original problem of how are we gonna have a warrior for the light side if we gentle all the men, but they all go nuts. So they're all looking at how they're gonna fight this thing, what they're gonna do, and then one of the Amerlin seats people has a foretelling because god power, that's one of the things they can do. They have a foretelling, and she's like, the dragon is reborn, and then keels over, and she's like, oh shit. And then there's two, like, accepted, which are like the step between novice and Aes Sedai. There's an accepted, like they get free studies, like they're advanced novices basically. They would just happen to be there serving dinner when this foretelling happened. So there's three people in the whole world that know this foretelling happened, and two of them are new. So that was scary. And so the Amerlin seat at the time looks at them and is all like, all right, shush. You can't talk to anybody. You can't ever say anything about that. You can even lie if you have to because they haven't been sworn on the Oath Rod, which we find out in the trailer very early on is a thing she's doing. So the Oath Rod is definitely not a spoiler. It's on the trailer. It's fun. It's whatever. Hear about right. So the two accepted, the two new girls get to see this foretelling happen, and the Amerlin's all like, no, you got to like lie about this shit. Don't tell people. And she basically gets murdered by the Black Aja, and then you find out, oh shit, now only the two new people even know about it. And that becomes Moraine's mission to find the Dragon Reborn. And that's basically where we're starting. That's like the preface. I'm not sure how they're going to tell you that in the story. Like, I imagine that's got to come up very early on. Like what I just said in that 10-minute recap needs to happen. So I look forward to seeing it. It's going to be November 19th. I might do some kind of watch party or something. That might be fun. We'll see. If you have enjoyed seeing this, make sure you like, subscribe, follow. If you comment on YouTube, like, tell me what you think, tell me what you don't think, tell me what I messed up. I'm sure somebody out there knows this more than I do, but the comments could just as easily become a wiki as anything else. So comment below. Once again, thank you so much for following, for being here, for your support. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.